Okay, let's get this over with. Westworld Season 3 is done. It's over. I did not enjoy that much of it. I really think it's too much. It's just too, it's going in places I don't want from this show, which, fine, whatever. It's not made for me, it's made for a general audience, and I think the general audience overall really likes what this show is. I might be the only person that thought this season was really uninteresting and not worth my time. And I would even say that about Season 2. I think Season 1 of Westworld was so interesting and unique and went in places I really wasn't expecting. It kept me on the edge of my seat, intrigued and engaged with those characters. Season 2 had some moments. I love Maeve. I hate Dolores. I do not think Dolores is interesting in the slightest. I think William's a really great character in that kind of world. And then we get to Season 3. Everything goes in the direction that I didn't want it to. I don't need the story about Dolores taking over the world or bringing the man down. That should just be something I don't care about. And she does that throughout most of this season. Near the end of the season, though, I do think her character got a little better, and I actually liked where she ended up, and I liked how things went for that character and where she needed to go in terms of the story, because it went from being, I can do anything in the world, I'm invincible, you can't stop me, to having a certain vulnerability to it that, when you think about it in the long run of the season, it's a pretty interesting arc for the character. But Dolores has never been one I liked. I really like Evan Rachel Wood. I think she's a really talented class act, and she's really interesting and unique, and she's got a presence on screen. But the character's motives, everything that Dolores did in the story, was not what I was focused on. And this was a Dolores heavy season. So right there, it kind of lost me in the narrative too. I get why we went off-world. I get why we went into the real world and we're breaking people down there. I don't think the future's that interesting. I hate the concept. I hate the concept of this idea. We have an algorithm that could predict the future, and there's no real free will because we know everything that's going to happen. We're just like this super genius AI. It's so science fiction-y that it just doesn't seem like it's ever a plausible future for us, because why would we ever do that to ourselves? We would never do that to ourselves. It doesn't seem likely to me. So that whole part of the story too, I didn't like. The introduction of Aaron Paul, I found, I don't know, his character just didn't do it for me. I know what his motives are, I know why he's there. He could have easily become a James Marsden type role where he just kind of goes beside Dolores and doesn't do much and just kind of there. But he gets more to do in this season than I care for. And I like Aaron Paul. I really like the guy. But this wasn't what I wanted from this show. I didn't need the whole backstory on Caleb's character. He didn't serve that much of a purpose at the beginning. So why did we focus so many episodes on his story? It just wasn't that interesting or unique. I don't think we needed it. And I'm sorry to say that. I don't think we needed that stuff in here. Towards the end, I will say this. The beginning, bad. Middle, little better. The end, okay. The final episode was okay, but I don't like it. I didn't need the whole Fight Club stuff going on there too, where it's like anarchy, yeah, it, yeah. I don't care. I do not care about that. They did not do anything with Arnold or Jeffrey Wright and Luke Hemsworth this entire season. They are just there to remind you they're going to be in Season 4, pretty much. And Tessa Thompson, I don't even know what the she was doing. Like, nothing with her was that interesting or cool, and she was just in here being a character that was different. And again, towards the end, she gets something to do. It's just such a set up episode, or I guess a season actually. We're just setting up for another thing happening in the next one. We got a new villain in this season called Sirach, and he is kind of like the wealthiest man who knows everything and built the machine that knows everything. And it's just so, he's an interesting part of this, I will say. His whole relationship to the world and everything going on in it, I thought was really interesting. His stuff with Maeve, I think, was really interesting. Maeve is my favorite character. She's like the only reason I want to keep watching this show, just because Thandie Newton, she is just so good in this role. She really gets what's going on here. She's so interesting. I love seeing her on screen. And at the end, when she's wearing that cool black outfit with the sword, ooh, mama, that was cool. That was cool, and that's all I liked pretty much. Nothing really happened. We just get a bunch of Caleb's bullshit that I don't need to see. Dolores being too powerful. And then William didn't do anything either. Nobody did anything this season except for Dolores. And then Maeve did her own thing one episode and then didn't do anything again, except like won her daughter back some more. I didn't like it. I didn't like this overall, and it kind of sucks. I wish it was better, because that first season just blew my mind. Something about that first season did everything right in my eyes, and I wish everything after that was as good as the first season, and it's not. This was just, and I'll be the first to admit, it got a little too convoluted for me, and sometimes I just couldn't follow it, and I just didn't want to either, because if I wasn't already engaged or cared, I'm not gonna want to watch it anymore. So why should I try if I'm not gonna focus? I don't miss the cowboy stuff. I don't think that's the issue. It's not the cowboy stuff that I miss. It's just a focused narrative that isn't trying to prove a message. It's just so heavy, like, free will matters, man. Free the people. You can't hold us back, dude. And it's like, I get it. I get it. You don't have to keep saying it. You proved your message with the conception of the machine that you're bringing down society. Oh, I get it. So let's talk about some of the things I did like, and it's not a whole lot. There's a big mech in one scene. He looked really cool. That was really fun. Maeve, when she is in like the war world and it's like an occupied France, and there's German Nazis everywhere. She looked really cool in there, and that stuff looked really cinematic and beautiful. There's this one random guy who has a t-shirt that the word changes to every emotion he's feeling. It's got like a weird, a word bubble or word tree with like happy, sad, angry, excited, scared, and the word would change and light up every time he was feeling a different emotion. That is my biggest takeaway from this entire season. That guy wore a really cool shirt that I do not understand the physics of. How would a shirt know what you're feeling? I guess through your heart rate, but then wouldn't it be wrong sometimes? Could it like read your facial expressions? How would it know exactly what you're feeling? Do you have to program it? Do you like hit the words you're feeling and that's when it changes? I don't know. That's the only thing I liked about this season. Those things are about it. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I kind of like. Luke Hemsworth is kind of cool. I mean, there's some interesting stuff with his character. Evan Rachel Wood had some cool outfits. That's kind of interesting too. So I don't know. That might be about it. There's not a whole lot that I liked. The Game of Thrones dragon makes an appearance because that's what we need to. Let's remind people of the finale of Game of Thrones, because that's what everybody wants. I did not like this season. It was slow, it was stupid, it was just uninteresting. Nobody did anything except for Dolores, and it was just 8 episodes of filler leading into a story that isn't going to satisfy me in the long run. So this wasn't for me. I'm over it. I don't need to watch any more Westworld. I don't know if I'm going to watch any more Westworld. But Maeve is so good. Maeve is so good. I love her. That's the only reason I continue. That's the only reason. I hope people like this more than me, and I think they all did, because there's a lot of talk online about how good this season was and how good this finale was, but I'm just like, oh, whatever, it's done. I can go watch Rick and Morty or some stupid shit. Thank you for watching this review. I will catch you guys in the next one. Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, email, all in the description below. Check me out there. Have a good day, guys. Go watch Westworld if you're bored and need something to do. Catch you in the next one. Good luck.